Hi there, guys and gals. This is Max talking at you from Easyrider Bike Show 2018. One of the great pleasures of doing this show is to bring you the gentleman that I'm going to present to you now. He's an inspiration, he's an idol, he is the maestro. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Lichter. How are you, sir?
Thanks, Max. Great to be here. Thank you.
We've talked on numerous occasions about how things have progressed in the bike world, and I had just got finished doing research on the way up here, and you were at we talked about Born Free, we've talked about Mama Tried, we've talked about some of the other shows out there, but there's a new show out there called Congregation. I just read an article on it. It was fantastic.
That's right. It's a great show. First year show down in South Carolina, and I'm actually sitting on a Prism bike, which was the guys that put on the Congregation show.
Outstanding. This is one outstanding piece of work.
Zach and Jake Hines and two brothers out of Prism Motorcycles, and they put on the Congregation, did a great job, and they're doing it again this year.
All right. So like I said, your photography and your art takes you all the way around the world. I mean, you've been to Moon Eyes, you've been to Verona, you've been to Fokker Sea, you've been just about everywhere. That's a biker event.
Not everywhere, but I'm working on it.
All right. And your art, absolutely, your photographs epitomize the biker lifestyle.
Well, thank you. It's almost 40 years, amazingly enough. So next year it'll be 40 years since I started getting my work in Easyriders, and I never thought it'd be ending up where I am now. Like you say, with the travel, I was in Italy a couple weeks ago, and Japan last month, and several places in between. So we had the Sacramento show, and we got Mama Tried coming up in 2 weeks, and Daytona just after. So it's a lot of time on the road, but it's a great blend for me. Right now I'm shooting the bikes. We'll shoot 15 or more bike features this weekend. Those will all appear in the magazine. Right. And so people come to these shows, and I think it's really wonderful. They have the opportunity that, maybe their bike gets selected to be in the magazine, which is great. And keeps me up on what's happening. I love to see the bikes, especially I haven't been just to that show in Italy and one in Japan, and here within 6 weeks to see styles and differences and even the way the shows operate. It's great.
I'll tell you what, I was talking to Zach Ness earlier, and he was over there, and he said there's a definite European style and essence. They get it about what bikers are. I mean, but there's just as much energy over here, again, with the Born Free, the Mama Tried, the Congregation, and shows just like that.
Yeah, it's different. Each place, it's more about their culture. It's funny because in America, we become more homogenous. I mean, they say the melting pot. Of course, there's a lot of differences between people, and maybe more so now than ever, unfortunately, with what's going on around the country. But in Europe, I think you still get this sense of regionalism. Funny, somebody was talking about Dave Perowitz the other day, and how it felt to be interviewing him, and how authentic it seemed, and genuine and characterful. But I think what that is that New England character, because it's one of the few places. It's kind of like coming from the South. You hear people from Southerners with that strong accent, and you kind of, something about it feels really good to hear those kind of regional differences. And of course in Europe, you see it in much shorter geographic spans, right?
Yeah, I mean, but what comes through is the passion for the motorcycle. That's what comes through, no matter where you are.
That's true, no matter where you are. In Japan, it's funny, I think Japan and Italy have a lot in common. They're both very, very style-oriented, and fashion-oriented. So they're fashion-conscious, and I think they've brought the bikes in the last 10, 15 years, especially Italy. I've seen that change. Both have been developing over the last 15 years to the point now where they're just on the cutting edge of what's going on, but very much so the way they are in other fashion senses and other disciplines. So, I think it's amazing what they do there. One thing about Italy that's great is you see the passion that they feel. They use the word passion all the time, and it's passion for the bikes and the style and everything about them. But you see even in the booths, and this is one difference. Like here, there's no convention center or hall that's going to let people just have all the alcohol they want and do what they want. But over there, it's not even thought about. Like every booth, they have a bar set up and an espresso machine, and they got a big wheel of cheese put out and meats, and everybody sits down, and it's a very social, interactive thing. Every booth. I mean, some of the booths, there's a guy, he's got a shop, he's got a booth every year, and he has a live band in the booth. You know, I mean, there's bands playing there. He's got his own band.
You know what? When I grow up and retire, I'm going with him. That's on my bucket list. I want to see Verona, Italy. I want to see Moon Eyes. I want to see Fokker Sea. I'm signing up to be your assistant.
All right.
Okay.
We'll put you on the list there, Max. Thank you.
Okay. Guys, I'll tell you what. When you get a chance, if you ever come up to the Columbus Invitational and you walk by and you see this big booth with the lighting and you see a guy crawling around on the ground, you got to watch Michael Lichter work. It's easy to look at the magazine and look at the 8 to 10 shots on a bike feature, but for every bike feature, you're shooting what, 120, 200 shots to get those 10?
About 2.5 hours per bike, and that's moving along.
Okay, and it's also the first interview I've ever done barefoot. So, there you go. Sir, always a pleasure.
Thanks, Max. Appreciate your time.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, check out Michael Lichter's website.
Lichterphoto.com.
And it's the epitome of the bike style. Take care. Max, Michael Lichter signing off.
Thank you.
Peace.